All right, welcome back to Health Foods to Avoid. And what we're going to talk about now is why it's so important to avoid fruit juice. Yes, fruit juice, whether it's fruit juice from the grocery store or even from the health food store, even if that bottle says 100% all natural, and yes, even if it's organic, you want to avoid fruit juice as much as possible. And this is especially important for kids because today's kids are overloaded on juice and literally juiceaholics. And parents, if you can cut down the amount of juice in their diet, that is going to be one of the best investments you can make in their current health and their health for years down the road. But before we get into why it's so important to avoid juice, it's really important to remember that there's nothing wrong with eating whole, fresh fruit. In fact, most of us don't get enough of this, but we get way too much of things like this. And kids are living off of juice packs like this. So why is it so important to avoid juice? Well, the first reason is juice has lost most of the nutrition that's in real fresh fruit, and especially the vitamin C complex. Vitamin C is very fragile, especially to oxygen when it's exposed to oxygen. So when you remove that juice from the fruit and it's exposed to oxygen, that vitamin C complex is going to start degrading very quickly. And within several days, you've lost the majority of the vitamin C complex. So when you see juice that you know has been on the shelf for weeks or maybe even months, you know you've lost the majority of the vitamin C that supports your immune system and helps your body adapt to stress. So why is it that you see on all these juice bottles things like 100% vitamin C? Well, it's because they add back into the juice ascorbic acid, which is just one piece of the complete vitamin C complex. Ascorbic acid is only a small part of vitamin C. There's a lot of other nutrients that make up vitamin C that you get in real fresh fruit that's not in ascorbic acid. But when they add ascorbic acid back to the juice, they can put on the label that it's 100% vitamin C. So the only way to get the vitamin C from the juice is if you take your own fruit, juice it up, and drink it within that day. That's the only way you're going to get a good vitamin C boost from drinking juice. Now, if that's not bad enough, all of the juice that's sold in the stores is pasteurized, which means it's exposed to high heat temperatures. That high heat is meant to kill bacteria, but what it also kills is enzymes. All the enzymes that are in the juice are destroyed with pasteurization, and the enzymes are literally the life of the food. You need the enzymes to use the vitamins and the minerals that's in the fruit. So when you destroy the enzymes, you destroy a major part of the nutrition. So you lose the vitamin C, you lose the enzymes, you've lost a lot of the nutrition that would normally be found in real fruit. So that's the first reason to avoid juice. The second is the most important, and that is that fruit juice is a major source of fructose sugar. And yes, fructose is a natural sugar, but when it's absorbed too quickly or we get too much of it, it is the most dangerous sugar that we can get in the diet. So what happens with juice is you remove the fiber to prevent the fructose from getting absorbed too quickly in the bloodstream. When you eat this apple, that fiber is going to make a slow, steady rise of fructose into the bloodstream so that it's not a big stress on your pancreas and your liver. But when you remove the fiber, then it's just a rocket ship of fructose going into the bloodstream. And we talked in the last video about when you get a big spike of glucose, that makes a big spike of insulin. And when you get a big spike of insulin, you store more belly fat. It tells your liver to make more of the bad kind of cholesterol, the very low density lipoprotein cholesterol. That's the dangerous one. And the biggest thing that fructose does is it ramps up your triglyceride production. That's what makes the belly fat, but that's what you also see when you get a bad cholesterol report with high triglycerides. Fructose will make it almost impossible to get triglycerides down, and it'll make it almost impossible to lose weight. So again, just like the whole grain issue where we talked about people are frustrated from eating whole grain cereals and whole grain breads and they're not losing weight because it's a big load of carbohydrates. Well, the same thing's going on with fruit juice is people are getting a big load of fructose, and that makes it impossible for them to lose weight. In fact, they gain more weight. They get higher cholesterol. They get higher blood pressure. And the worst thing about getting a lot of fructose in your diet is it makes you crave more sugar. So just like the breads, we talked about how the more bread you eat, the more bread you crave. Same with the juice. The more juice you drink, the more juice you crave. But it gets worse. The other problem with the sugar in fruit is the sheer quantity. Not just that the fiber has been removed, but when we drink juice, we get much more sugar than we would if we were just eating fruit. And here's what I mean by that. This is a pretty good size orange, and if you sat down at a table to eat this, you would maybe eat half of it or one orange max. You wouldn't binge on oranges. But the problem is, again, when you remove that fiber from the orange and you're making juice from it, you can get a lot of juice very quickly. Right before I started filming this, I took an orange this size and I put it through a regular citrus juicer. This is how much juice I got from it. You can see it's not very much. Nobody is going to drink that small amount of juice if they're going to drink orange juice. They're going to drink a big glass of it. So it's not just that the fiber's removed, it's that we get so much of it. If you were going to drink a large glass of this, it would take 3 oranges, 4 oranges, maybe even 5 oranges to get a big glass of orange juice. So when you just down a big glass of juice, you're getting the equivalent of 4, 5, 6 pieces of fruit, which is much more than your body was designed to be able to handle. So again, if you're making fresh squeezed juice at home, and that's the only healthy way to get real vitamin C in juice, but you don't want to get a lot of sugar, you just want to get the concentrated health benefits, very easy solution. Take some water and dilute the juice. That way you get a good amount of sweet juice, but you haven't overpowered your pancreas with a big load of sugar. And this applies to any juice. If you're not making your own fresh squeezed juice, if you are, I don't know why you'd want to, but if you are drinking this kind of stuff, you've got to dilute it at least 50%. You got to cut the sugar load somehow by diluting it with water. So let's look at the quantity of the sugars that are in these things. Well, this one, cranberry juice, is actually not a high sugar juice, but if you've ever tasted unsweetened cranberry juice, you know it's very bitter. So you know what the first ingredient of this is? It's not cranberry, it's grape juice, because grape juice is incredibly sweet. So with 8 ounces or 1 cup, just 1 cup of this, you get 35 grams of sugar. That's a lot. To put that in perspective, this 7.5 ounce can of Coke has 22 grams of sugar. And then this Minute Maid has 22 grams for 6.75 fluid ounces. These are both Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola makes the Minute Maid juices, and they both ounce for ounce have the same amount of fructose. Now, granted, high fructose corn syrup that's in the Coke is much worse because there is mercury in it, there's other chemical additives. But as far as a weight loss standpoint or trying to get your cholesterol down, but especially the weight loss, it's the same drinking both of these. There's no difference between the two. So you might as well drink the Coke. It tastes better, right? That's the big takeaway message of this video is drink Coca-Cola. No, all that's to say is that it's the same. It's both a concentrated load of fructose in your body. Again, even the organic one, this has the same amount of sugar. 23 grams of sugar for 6.75 ounces of this. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I don't drink the refined juice. I get the fruit smoothies that are at the store. This is what that you can find in the fruit and vegetable section of the grocery store. And it looks really healthy. It advertises that you're getting 5 fruits when you're eating this. But when you look at the ingredient label, there's a lot of fruit juice. It's not just blended up fruit. It's a lot of added juice that's added to it. So you actually get 35 grams of sugar for 1 cup of this smoothie. If you were going to drink the whole smoothie, you would get 70 grams of sugar. Again, just drink Coke. Teas. A lot of people are drinking fruit-flavored teas thinking that's a healthy drink. You all recognize that one? Same thing. There are 23 grams of sugar for 1 cup of this. Now this one may really surprise you because this is supposed to be like the healthiest kind of juice out there. V8, the V8 Splash, it's one of their newer fruit juices. The second ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. There's more high fructose corn syrup in here than there is fruit juice. Another great example of that is the Arizona tea. A lot of people are drinking this tea thinking that this is healthy. This is a pomegranate tea, which is advertised as being, really high antioxidant tea. But there's more high fructose corn syrup in this tea than there is pomegranate juice. So again, it just doesn't make sense to drink this and think that it's healthy. If you like this stuff, that's fine, but just know it's not a health food. There is nothing healthy about doing that. Now, on a side note, if you like those tea beverages, but you're trying to really cut down the sugar, this is a much better choice. You may have seen this one recently, the Honest Tea. You can get this in all the grocery stores, even Walmart now. This bottle, I think it has, 16 ounces. This whole 16-ounce bottle of this sweetened tea, this lemon sweetened tea, has half the amount of sugar as just this little packet of orange juice. So much, much better choice if you're going to drink something like that. Even better if you're trying to drastically cut the sugars, especially if you're trying to lose weight, but you really just crave something sweet in your water, this is going to be a lifesaver for you. If you get lemon juice straight from a lemon, or even the lemon juice concentrate, and you add stevia to it, just get the water, put the lemon juice in it, and just a few drops of stevia. This is my favorite one, the Sweet Leaf brand. You're familiar with the Truvia brand too. That works really well also. But any stevia in lemon juice makes one of the best tasting lemonades. Zero sugar, very healthy. If you're trying to transition your kids from this junky fructose juice that they're getting drinking every day to something healthier, this would be a great option. Same with cranberry juice. If you get real cranberry concentrate that doesn't have the added sugars added to it, that is a very minimal amount of sugar, and there's a lot of health benefits to this. If you add a few drops of stevia to unsweetened cranberry juice or unsweetened cranberry concentrate in water, that is a very healthy beverage that there's no problem with. So there are options. The best is a drink that people used to drink a long time ago. It's called water. Very few people drink it anymore, but way back in the day, people used to drink that and did just fine. So the goal is to transition from this to doing substitutes like this for a while, and then eventually that you cure yourself of that sugar addiction, and water is satisfying at some point. But as long as you have to do something like this, that's okay. Just get a good quality stevia, make some good tasting fruit juice, and your kids will never complain about it. If you get the right dose of the lemon extract, the right dose of the stevia, they won't miss the juice at all. So again, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get your cholesterol down, if you know how bad sugar is and you're just trying to cut sugar, fruit juice is one of the most important things to cut from your diet. And it's one of the most deceptive health foods out there. Now, the next video, we're going to talk about probably the most dangerous health food that you want to avoid. So come back for that one, and we will see you soon.